welcome to our awards, our transitions, and our thanks. From myself as your very short timer district governor, Joe Kashi, and my spouse of many years, Dr. Therese Kashi of the E Club. So thank you all for attending this part. I will move that forward promptly, and we have a lot of thanks to go tonight. So I'll just move it along. In particular, we have numerous clubs and district leaders who have gone above and beyond the call of duty in this last year, which was challenging not only in its practical exigencies, but in wrapping our head around something very different and very new. So with no further ado, I will say thank you all and move forward. With plaques for each of our district leadership, except myself, of course. Thank you to District Governor-elect Cheryl Mativa, whom you can see there. The district governor-elect year is probably busier in some ways than the actual DG year, and Cheryl has put her heart and soul into making it work. Our district governor nominee, as part of our district governor team, Mike Ferris, is not only a commercial fisherman, but also a successful businessman. And I know he's going to find the time to be an excellent DG as well, because Mike's found the time to respond to all my emails promptly. And those of you who have seen some of them, just be aware that that's not even all of those. Oops. And then finally, our district governor designee, Mike Paul. And I know, well, again, Mike is also still in business as a water quality person, but Mike, in fact, has found the time to undertake, to lead and, in fact, fully participate in an excellent district-wide project that I'll describe in a moment. I know that all of these people will be, excellent, committed, highly energetic Rotarians and district governors. It's been an excellent team. We've tried to work by consensus, and I thank all of them. Our lieutenant governor team will also get a spiffy plaque. Outgoing Lieutenant Governor Rosie Roppel, 19 to 21 of Ketchikan First City Rotary. And I thank Rosie. Rosie made things work this year. Thank you so much, Rosie. You were there. And our incoming Lieutenant Governor-elect from Wasilla Noon Club, Lisa Phillips. Lisa has also been invaluable. Even though it wasn't part of her gig this year, Lisa made things work. We will be providing special plaques. And I know, in fact, that Lisa's plaque will be particularly nice because she's doing all the ordering of them to save me the grief. Thank you so much, Lisa. And Rosie, Mike, and Cheryl, our district leadership team. It's a great team, and I know just from interacting with these people, it's going to be a great couple of years as we move forward. Our principal district officers, District Treasurer George Elgie. George, thank you. George said, I really want to just do international projects. I said, George, please, I need a treasurer. I promise we'll do international projects. And George has George turned to and was an exceptional district treasurer. I thank George so much. Same with Don Polton. I said, Don, would you please be in addition to being administrative chair and making everything run on the rails, will you also be district secretary? And Don not only turned to, but also undertook additional duties, in particular, helping us sort through all of our documentation and start getting it online. And both of these people did it in conjunction with our district administration. Janine Becca from Anchorage South. Janine worked to make things flow smoothly for District Treasurer George Elgie and for District Secretary Don Polton. But the biggest compliment and also the biggest task for these people is that they kept me on the rails and on the straight and narrow. And that speaks, I think, highly for all of them at the fact that they could, in fact, keep our district on the straight and narrow through my year. So thank you so much. I really appreciate everything from everyone. Moving on. We have an assistant governor team that's been really exceptional and active this year. Bill Wright of the Northern District, Brenda Sheldon from Matsu-Eagle River, Lori Draper, Kenai Peninsula, Kodiak, Sharon Bergman for Southeast Alaska, which is Certainly a task given the number of clubs and their spread out nature. And Amy Mackey-Hornick from Anchorage, again, a very large number of clubs. Thank you all to our 5 district assistant governors and their regions. You interacted smoothly and made things work this year. It is very much appreciated. An appropriate plaque will be for each of you. Now, I wanted to do something personal, and thank you. Many of you have seen this print, maybe too often. It's a photograph I took a few years ago, flying some out-of-state Rotarians about 9,000 feet over the Harding Ice Field, looking east toward northwestern Glacier and Fjord and the open Gulf of Alaska. I made 20 prints of this size. I made them myself on 11 by 14 archival print paper with a signed thanks by me. I would have made more, but my printer started getting bulky, and I unfortunately, technical difficulties precluded any more than the 20. And those 20 are going to people who always stepped up and helped right away when asked, without more. DGE Cheryl Mativa, DGN Mike Ferris, District Governor Designate Mike Paulin, Lieutenant Governor Rosie Roppel, Lieutenant Governor Lisa Phillips, District Treasurer Don Polton, District Secretary Don Polton, District Treasurer George Elgie, District Admin Janine Becca, past District Governors Diane Figes and Ted Trueblood with Foundation and so much more, past District Governor Andre Layrol, who spearheaded our training effort, which really revamped and made our former Leadership Academy, now I believe it's the Growth and Learning Center, far better. Past District Governor Harry Keeling, who did so much, I lost count just about, but that included nominating committee, Rotary Cares for Kids, crisis management, District Governor crisis management training, and I know more. There's more than that. Similarly, with past District Governor Gail Nepper, who was our chair of the Council of Governors on the Finance Committee, helped with the training revamp, and as I say, much more. Past District Governor Michelle O'Brien, who is one of our PETS representatives, District 28 West Public Image Coordinator, and there's more, but I just don't remember it offhand. I'm sorry, Michelle. Thank you so much. Past District Governor Brad Gamble, who again was not only part of our zone representatives, but also worked actively on PETS and with grants. Past District Governor Alana Berg, who spent a great deal of time working with revamping our training and our learning center. Past District Governor Carolyn Jones, who worked hard to help us with expanding our diversity, equity, and inclusion, which really, in some ways, I believe is the future of Rotary as we expand out beyond our traditional populations. Grants co-chair Paul Passley, who had to put up with me a lot this year and my many suggestions. Thank you, Paul. District Trainer Joe Kukley, who similarly could turn on a dime when I had a different idea, but did so much in terms of making all of our training, our mid-year conference, our PETS, pre-PETS work well. And then our Youth Protection Officer and Interact Chair and Rotaract Chair, Dan Dawson of Juneau Glacier Valley. Dan turned and pulled together a strong youth protection policy when we needed it so much. These are my personal thank yous with, as I say, the 11 by 14 prints, which I made and printed and signed. Lisa Phillips is kind enough to mail them all out to 19 of you. I'm sure she will just not bother to mail out her own, but will retain it. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Lisa, for helping me with this. Well, this has been an unusual year, and thanks to so many of you Rotarians who we will start recognizing and mentioning in a moment, we've actually had a very active year. In addition to the many active club projects, and we'll talk about a few of those, we've put into high gear a variety of district-wide projects of some import, which will carry over to completion in the subsequent year to years, including emergency safe water under District Governor Designate Mike Paulin and John Duffenbeck, who is a water engineer well known to Mike. This answers the question of what happens when, for example, this last year, 6 Alaska Native villages lost their water treatment plants due to fire, freeze up, or other serious casualty. They had no water left that was safe to drink. Well, thanks to Mike Paulin and John Duvenbeck, we now have a design that has gone beyond prototype into first production. For an emergency safe water system that can be flown in a matter of hours under almost any helicopter available in Alaska. That will allow us to provide safe water almost on demand as need be, and to run for a period of months. Each of those systems will cost less than 40% of the money that was raised and spent to just fly unsustainably bottles of water into Tuluksuk, as an example. An excellent project that I think has broad applicability far beyond our Rotary District. Professor Don Albrecht of our E-Club has brought to Kodiak, Ketchikan, Nenana, and Minto, and we believe as well Haines, a proven 21st century economic and community development process that's nationally award-winning, thanks to Don's work, and that promises to help these economically impacted communities find ways to diversify and upgrade their rural economic development in ways that fit and are consistent with their community preferences for how the community wishes to develop. Bernie Grifford and Karen Parr, Bernie of the Homer Kachemak Bay Rotary Club, Karen of the College Rotary Club, have undertaken a project in Kenya, which will start out in a first phase as basically a water project, but will, in its subsequent phases, as we become more used to working with each other, as people become more familiar with the requirements of Rotary Global Grants, become a major multi-area focus, water, food, peace, and environmental security, environmental and climate change adaptation project. Bernie and Karen have pulled together a truly national level group of Rotarians and other experts that will bring a proven project into the civilian and Rotary world, which I think will have a great deal of impact to all of those. Now, these projects, the ones above, I think exemplify the charge I gave Rotarians earlier in the year, which is that we make the best use of our time, our limited funds, our limited volunteer hours by going and developing knowledge, by developing pilot projects and demonstration projects that show others how to help themselves. Teach a person to fish, not give them a fish every day. And I think these projects above with the people I've mentioned are exceptional, highly sustainable, highly cost-effective projects that, because they develop and disseminate knowledge across the Rotary world, will have an exceptional impact as they work their way through over the next year to 2 or 3 years. Thank you for that. Past District Governor Andre Leyrol spearheaded our food security project this last year. It was his project. I shouldn't take any credit for it, and made a really major effort. And that was complemented by some club efforts, particularly as we'll see as we go down below a bit. So thank you so much. We also raised a massive amount of money. I believe, despite our small size as a Rotary District, I believe we lead our zone in terms of Polio Plus fundraising, thanks partly to a very large anonymous gift from a college Rotarian, as well as our Polio Plus fundraiser, which took advantage of high match by Rotary World Fund, which will no longer be with us shortly, as well as by the Gates Foundation, such that every Rotarian's initial contribution ultimately was matched 9 times by the time that it got to foundation. So thank you all for your help with that. And we're going to touch on these with some very special awards right after this. Internally, we've tried to, and this won't be so obvious to people except for the first, um, we're making a major effort to upgrade our website in terms of usability, ease of access, and just general aesthetics so that it's pleasant to look at and work with. And I wish to particularly thank Lieutenant Governor Rosie Roppel, our webmaster Christine Gabb from British Columbia, our district admin Janine Becca for making so much effort. Past District Governor Diane Figes and Andre Leyrol. Thank you all for helping with that so very much. COVID put a real strain on our fundraising for this past year. We couldn't do a lot of our traditional Rotary Foundation fundraisers, our club fundraisers, rose sales, all the sorts of things we typically do to have fun, be visible in the community, and raise money. So we had to go and scramble and find some new tools, which will, I believe, in years to come, complement, not supplant, but just complement our traditional fundraising methods. As a result of COVID, we secured from the state of Alaska a waiver allowing us to sell tickets, for example, online. And clubs have used that event group platform to do that. So we'll be working with that on the event group so that clubs can use their fundraisers or ticket sales, whether it's Moose Marble, Madness, or whatever, to go and help us raise funds. In addition to which, I was quite surprised at the extent to which the Tuluxic water issue was able to raise almost $100,000 to fly unsustainably, I might add, bottled water into Tuluxic. We're going to try to go and use the GoFundMe approach to help raise money for our sustainable emergency safe water project with DGD Mike Paulin and John Duffenbach. We're going to try to go and develop, as things move forward, hopefully in the next few weeks, a hybrid approach to raising money, not just asking Rotarians and Rotary Foundation for money and grants, but to move forward to go and try to raise money from a broad stream of sources, whether it's event group stuff, GoFundMe, talking to various in-state community foundations and other foundations for grant monies. But in other words, I see it as having multiple fingers to raise grants at this point. Now, we're also working on data security, and you will get an email from me in the near future. We had an extensive set of work and audit with our cyber insurance carriers expert, and as a result of that information, we'll be providing everybody with data security. As we all know, the court system recently went offline because of a cyber attack. Matt Sue, a lot of individual Rotarians that I know of have suffered substantial business or personal damage as a result. In the very near future, you will see the data security information going out to all of you. That happened in part as we worked hard to understand our own issues and provide help to everybody as we move forward with our own cyber insurance. And then, we're internally cleaning up, upgrading, improving our contracts, our policies, our procedures. I won't go into that. Even as a lawyer, I would have to say that can get tedious. And of course, most of you know the definition of a lawyer, somebody you pay to read stuff that's too boring to read it yourself. But we're reading it, as dutiful Rotarians. And we will be upgrading that as we move into the coming Rotary year. Then, of course, thanks to PDG Alana Berg, Diane Figes, Andre Leyrol, Gail Nepper, and others, Patty Merritt. Our training, growth, and learning has greatly been overhauled and improved. We have conversations about leadership tips online. I think you'll find that as we go and complete the organization of our website, there's a great deal more content on the website and on our YouTube channel. I hope you'll find it useful in your own growth, learning, and training. So now, some very special awards. This year, the district is awarding 12, count them, 12 Paul Harris Fellowships to people who have helped and who have made a very special contribution. And I'm trying to keep this fairly short, so I'll move through it relatively quickly. If we'll have a few moments for each person who may be online for the Paul Harris Fellowships. And our first one, and these Paul Harris Fellowships come from my points, my own points from our district contributions, from the district's points, and generously from past District Governor Foundation co-chair Ted Trueblood's points. Our very first one is to Lieutenant Governor Rosie Roppel, who, despite a lot of personal issues in terms of health and the like, initially has overcome all of those and is raring to go, has helped remarkably in making this work over the last year for me and the year before that for PDG Andre Leyrol. Rosie is also on the Zone 28 West Public Image Resource Chair and is chair of our Public Image Committee. Rosie, thank you very much. If anybody deserves this, and there are many, many people who do, you certainly are among the foremost. Do you have a few words that you wish to say? Hello? Well, we know that there were bandwidth issues there. I won't say where Rosie is now, but the leaves are all fully out. Hi, Rosie. I think you lost your connection. Hi, are you back with us?
Well, all the electricity went out down here in Mexico, but I'm back on my personal hotspot. So there you are.
Well, thank you so much. The entire district is grateful for the efforts you put in, even when it, was a real challenge with many things that have occurred. I, in particular, am grateful. If anybody kept me on the rails this year, it was you, Rosie. So thank you so much. Are you back with us, Rosie?
Yeah, thanks. This is really quite an honor, and thank you very much. I'm very appreciative, and I'm sitting in the dark.
Well, hey, I've been in the dark. There are some who would say I've been in the dark all year. I'm glad it's only briefly for you. Okay, and next, some other very special awards for Paul Harris Fellowships from similar my points, district points, PDG Ted Trueblood's points, and that's for club leadership and net membership growth. As we expected, there's in something like COVID, which prevents us from having our traditional fellowship and get-togethers, we tended to have some issues with membership. They were very minimal. We lost hardly any membership. We are steady and stable, and it's thanks to people such as Bennett McGrath, Brian Shimmick, Catherine Rogers, and Dan Phillips, who grew their clubs, net growth in their clubs, despite COVID over this past year. And there's a Paul Harris thanking them from us to each of them. Bennett, are you with us tonight? Brian, are you with us? I know you're there, Brian. I saw you. Brian?
Oh, yes, I am here. You know what? I am just really grateful to all the other presidents this year. And I think I've got 10 members associated with the E-Club on this meeting right now. I'm just really grateful to all of you.
Thank you. Dan, are you with us tonight?
Yeah, Joe. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. I just want to do a real quick look at the list. Petersburg, Sitka. I'm from Wrangell. Must be something good in the water down there in Southeast. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. And so thank you to the Petersburg Rotary Club, the Rotary E-Club of District 5010, the Sitka Rotary Club, and the Susitna Rotary Clubs. Thank you all. Now, we're not done. We have some other very special Paul Harris fellowships. And those are going to people who exemplified our notion of highly cost-effective, high-impact projects this past year, making a great deal of impact with relatively minimal effort. Relatively minimal resource demands, and primarily through innovation and dissemination of, if you will, pilot project efforts or demonstration project efforts. And the first goes to Professor Don Albrecht, also of the E Club. Don, are you with us tonight?
Yeah, can you hear me, Joe?
I can.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the honor, and it has been a pleasure to work with all of you and to work closely with those with whom we're doing our strategic planning process. So thank you.
Thank you, Don. And past District Governor Andre Leroy for the Food Security for All Alaska from the Fairbanks Sunrisers. Andre, how's your bandwidth tonight?
It's good. Not sitting in my Jeep.
Well, we want to thank you, Andre. You're muted again, though.
Thank you for the recognition. I certainly didn't expect it. And this was a great focus for our district, I think at a time that it was really critical. And I just really want to thank the club presidents and the assistant governors for their help in making sure that this money got out there to the people who needed it most. So it's a great effort.
And
glad to be part of it.
Thank you so much, Andre. The district is proud of all of you. And Jess Gutzweiler of the Anchorage South Club, Jess put in a huge amount of time and effort, along with Janine Becca, to make our 9X Polio Plus fundraiser such a success. We would have gone and also recognized past District Governor Ted Trueblood, but Ted is an Arch Clump Society member. We were using Ted's points to provide some of the Polio Plus night. It seemed a bit superfluous, I suppose. Ted, are you with us this evening? And Jess, are you with us?
Yep. Hello. Thank you so much. I don't think I deserve this credit as it was a full team effort, but I appreciate that and all those that contributed, and wear your pins proudly.
Thank you, Jess. Ted, are you with us?
Yes, I am, Joe. And I have to second your comments about the energy that Jess and Janine put in on this project. I discovered the project on Facebook from John Nanny, who is a Rotarian in upstate New York, and it just worked out great. But it was a real good team effort. And by the way, that platform that you finally got us up and running did the job. We did well.
Thank you, Ted. Thank you, Jess. And I should also give a shout out on that to District Governor-elect Cheryl Mativa, who was instrumental in helping us make our 9X match through use of some of the funds which she would have otherwise had available for remittance back to Rotary Foundation in 2021, 2022. So thank you as well, Cheryl. Now, a couple more special awards. Speaking of food insecurity, Scott Seitz, president of the Kenai Rotary Club, challenged Rotary clubs all over our district and even in his old district 5020 to come up with nutritious, inexpensive, highly desired peanut butter for the food banks, and pallet loads happened as a result. Scott, your peanut butter challenge was great. Thank you so much. Are you with us tonight?
Yes, I am. Thank you very much.
And hello, Karen Seitz as well.
Hello, President-elect. We had 9,164 plus or minus overall total pounds. And the Alaskan winner, who can win this beautiful traveling trophy next year, is sitting right behind us.
Aha, you mean, i.e. your wife, who's the incoming Kenai Club president?
Hopefully, yes. No, let's start right here.
Ah,
So you
okay.
can't win her.
No, but I can win that.
She's taken, man. She's taken.
Oh, I know she's grooving. And I seem to recall, that for some reason or other, your old district and your old club in District 5020 down in Tacoma won the challenge. How did you manage to do that?
Well, they received like 68 pounds per person and got a traveling trophy about this big. But for the in-states, it's easier for us to get this anywhere. So it's grande size. So anybody wants to throw down any side bets? Yeah. But we have Oregon, California, maybe Arizona and Nevada coming on.
And
Maybe
Michigan, I got Michigan
and
coming up.
Michigan coming on. So
I think that's great. Scott, certainly it's highly deserved. Thank you so much. Now,
thank you.
John Dufenbach, John, you are the primary engineering side of our mobile emergency village water systems. Are you with us tonight? Well,
he was earlier, Joe, but I think he headed off for something else.
okay. Well, Mike, since you're there, we would have given you a Paul Harris too, except you're already a major donor level 2, and it seemed kind of superfluous. We'll just give you our great thanks for a fabulous project, and we'll make sure that you can give John the Paul Harris medal and ribbon.
There's a picture of John setting up the pilot test we did on the 21st of April up on the Tanana River. So that's him right here.
Thank you so much, everybody. Mike, and John both. Now, and finally, yep, we run out of points. We have Bernie Grifford, past president of the Homer Kachemak Bay Rotary Club, and again, should I say, the once and future Homer Kachemak Bay Rotary Club president, and Karen Parr of the College Rotary Club for the Kenya, the water project, but it's really a peace project in environmental sustainability, food security, physical safety. It hits virtually, the project that Bernie and Karen are spearheading hits virtually every area of focus for Rotary Foundation. And it brings them together into a wonderful unified whole rather than siloing and saying, oh, this is a food project, this is a water project. We're going to teach people how to mediate peaceful conflict, how to mediate armed conflict 20 years from now, as opposed to avoiding the root cause of conflict now. Bernie and Karen, would you like to say something? Maybe starting off with Bernie?
Let me just say this, that thank you very much for the award, but I think that the real merit ought to go to Karen, who was the founding partner on this and has definitely spearheaded it from her apartment there in Fairbanks. And I would say that we wouldn't be here this far along without Karen.
Karen, thank you. Are you with us? Karen, if you're with us, can you unmute?
Just did.
Ah, good.
All right now? Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. I certainly don't deserve this because we're just getting started, actually. But Bernie and I are working on it pretty hard. And I wanted to also mention that when I joined the college club 20-some years ago, my guru, my role model was Carl Schroeder. And we're really going to miss him. Carl had water projects in Kenya that he always brought to us and urged us to contribute to.
Thank you, Karen. Now, moving along, District Governor's special thanks and plaques, and I'll just mention them at this point. And each person will have, thanks are great, but, it's always nice to have a customized plaque to hang on your wall. If for no other reason than to cover those other nail holes, if you're like me. And special thanks plaques to Lieutenant Governor Rosie Roppel, past District Governor Harry Keeling, for so many things that I lost count. At least I couldn't fit them all on the screen, including last year's nominating committee chair, our archetypical district-wide project, Rotary Cares for Kids, crisis management training, where Harry and Bernie in particular instituted a program by which district governor team people are trained in actual crisis management skills before it happens rather than after the fact. Past district governor Diane Figes, who as chair of the finance committee, co-chair of the foundation committee, worked on training. Past district governor Andre Leyrol for the training revamp, as well as the food security project. Of course, district governor-elect Cheryl Mativa, who's really busy with our mid-year conference, our pets, and getting ready for this coming year. District governor nominee Mike Ferris, who Mike worked very hard on membership. Mike did an excellent set of, Mike was just good all-around counsel. I could always count on Mike to get back to me quickly with comments, suggestions that were very rational, calm, and on point. Again, one of the people to help keep the district on the rails this year. Thank you, Mike. So, the same goes for District Governor-designate Mike Paulin. We've already talked about the emergency water project. Past District Governor Gail Nepper was chair of the Council of Governors, worked with innovation training at our pets, was one of the driving forces for the revamping of our training as well. My old friend and classmate, past District Governor Ted Trueblood, as our foundation co-chair from Anchorage International. Ted was the driving force behind our extremely successful Polio Plus fundraiser, but behind the scenes, Ted, I have to admit, if Ted had a last name ending in I or O, or like some of my the maternal side of my family's the Italian maternal side of my family, if Ted had a last name ending in an Italian suffix, I would have said, Ted, now I understand how you managed to get so many people to become Paul Harris Society members for the foundation, level 2 major donors otherwise, and a few other things like that. Ted, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it. The foundation fundraising was exceptional. As I said, I'm almost tempted to wonder if you don't have some Italian in your family, just like me. It was a phenomenal fundraising effort on behalf of foundation, and one which will keep giving in the years to come, literally and figuratively, because Ted got us roped into pledging to do a certain amount every year. He'll tell you more about that in a moment. Further special thanks, past District Governor Michelle O'Brien, Public Image Committee co-chair and Zone 28 Public Image, as well as pets, past District Governor Brad Gamble, Zone Rep, Committee on Legislation, Grants, and Pets. As I say, Brad is one of those quotidian Rotarians who do so many things, you don't even remember them all, and it almost takes too much time to cross-check them or fit them onto the page. Thank you so much, Brad. Janine Becca, who handled district administration exceptionally. Dan Dawson, who really put the protection and youth protection for us this year. District Trainer Joe Kookley, who not only was our district trainer, but I could call on Joe to go and actually read contracts, write contracts, or otherwise provide sage legal advice within her area of expertise. Similarly, with Kim Kobo, past president of Russian Jack Club, Kim provided a great deal of legal counsel, and I might say excellent counsel, expert counsel, if you will, to areas of the district this year in ways that I found extremely valuable. Kim was a longtime colleague, friendly adversary on the other side for 20 plus years. I grew to respect Kim a great deal. And when these kind of issues came up, I called on Kim, who I knew would be thorough and good. So thank you, Kim. And then we have Brenda Hewitt of the Susitna Club, who was a spark plug for our rural economic development and safe water projects, and still is. Patty Merritt from the College Club, who contributed a great deal to our training this year, and if memory serves, will be our Rotary District trainer next year. Kim Erickson, similarly, working hard on our Learning Center with PDG Alana Berg, the Susitna and North Pro Rotary Clubs, respectively. Rich McClear of the Sitka Club, who is, I think of Rich as kind of the deputy lead on the Kenya project, headed by Karen and Bernie. Now, and the last, I think last, Gretchen Klein really took the public image bull by the horns to try to get us some excellent traditional media exposure this year, and we still have her working on some of that even as we speak. Dean McVeigh, who gratefully, I think, retired after 3 years as district treasurer, and then Dean just couldn't let go, so he came back. He's now a member of the finance committee with wonderful advice, a truly selfless service regarding finance. Woody Angst of the Anchorage East Club, who stepped up to provide service to a number of district-wide projects, including helping with grants next year as a past district foundation chair. And Ron Inouye of the College Club. Ron provided, I would say, more good ideas than anybody else I heard this year in terms of suggesting good ideas and wise counsel. I would make a minor joke and say he provided more ideas than I did, but he certainly provided more good ideas than I did. So thank you, Ron, and everybody else. And our chair thanks. See, being half Italian myself, I can talk fast. Our thanks to our chairs, and again, a plaque to cover those nail holes for each of our committee chairs and co-chairs, including Council of Governors, Chair Gail Nepper, and the Training Committee, the Excess Reserve Committee, Mike Paulin, we've heard that name before, Public Image Co-Chair, Michelle O'Brien, Public Image Co-Chair, Lieutenant Governor Rosie Roppel, Awards Co-Chair. These things just don't happen on trees. Lisa Phillips put in a vast amount of work to make this work out. And thank you, Lisa. And the work is still to come because Lisa's ordering plaques, mailing them out, and mailing out all of those prints I made. So thank you, Lisa, from the Wasilla Noon Club as our awards committee co-chair. And I have to thank Lisa and Ted Trueblood in particular for reminding me and prodding me to get this done, get this started at a rational time so that they had the ability to actually get it done. Thank you, folks. Mike Bridges, Leon Bridges, we all know him as Mike, past area assistant governor for the Anchorage area, the Hillside Club. Mike is our district risk management officer. Mike provided a lot of good advice in terms of just making our district safe and avoiding liability or other issues. Past district governor Harry Keeling, as I mentioned, risk management, nominating committee, Rotary Cares for Kids, other management, crisis management training. Harry chaired all of that this year. Whenever I needed something, Harry said yes. It probably got to be so many requests and asks to Harry that I'm sure in the background there was probably a reluctant yes, but it was always a yes. So thank you so much, Harry. And again, thank you to Bernie Grifford for chairing our Peace Projects and Activities Committee this year in our risk management, and past District Governor Andre Leyrol for our district app, which is still undergoing further evolution and work. As with every technology advance of that sort, it takes a couple of years to hone it and get widespread adoption. But once that occurs, it requires patience and just consistent follow-up, which Andre has done. We ask ourselves, how do we ever get along without it? What happened before then? Thank you, folks. More chairs and thanks. Past District Governor Diane Fiji's Foundation Committee Co-Chair, Training Director, Learning Center, also on our Risk Management and our Crisis Management Training Committee. past District Governor Ted Trueblood for his foundation co-chair, and the Paul Harris Society. In case you don't know what that is, that's where Ted gets you to go and commit to providing another Paul Harris Fellowship every year, $1,000 donation every year for yet another Paul Harris per person that he nominates for the rest of your life. As I said, I think Ted has some Italian in his background. Ted got 24 new ones. And among those, Ted got all the usual suspects, including a great number of us who are online this year. And I can't speak for you folks, but until Ted put the hit on me, I hadn't even heard of the Paul Harris Society. When he said, "Oh, put me in charge of the Paul Harris Society too," I said, "Oh, sure, Ted, if you want to." Little did I know, but now I know, but it's too late. Thank you, Ted, for being an extraordinarily effective fundraiser for foundation. Past District Governor Alana Berg of the Learning and Growth Center. Past District Governor Brad Gamble, who was the grants co-chair, and Brad was, among many other things, but for grants as well. Brad was, and Paul Pasley of Anchorage East, who is the co-chair this year, chair next year. They've been extraordinarily patient and kind when I would make suggestions to them about this or that in areas of their particular expertise. So thank you, everybody, for your patience, if nothing else, and your kindness. Not to mention, of course, your exemplary efforts, by which we all know you. Brenda Sheldon of Ryla, Cheryl Keepers and Jeff Johnston of the College and Palmer Rotary Clubs, respectively, who are Youth Exchange co-chairs. Youth Exchange had a really difficult year this year and last year because with COVID, Youth Exchange is suspended this year and the coming year. And they have worked extraordinarily hard to go and maintain morale, keep the team together at an active and high pitch, and to go and clean up our procedures such that we have an exemplary set of selection and training for our inbound and outbound kids. So thank you both, Cheryl and Jeff. And then Lois Craig, former Whitehorse area assistant governor, and Patty Merritt of the College Club, who are our Peace Scholarship Committee co-chairs, and thanks to them. Then for membership co-chairs, Lindsay Knight of the Kodiak Morning Club and Mike Ferris of the Anchorage South Club, who handled our membership committee this year. It's thanks to people like them that we stayed essentially level with membership despite an extremely trying year. So thank you guys very, very much. And then I believe finally our district trainer, Joe Kukley, who managed to get it all done even while maintaining an extremely active law practice. So thank you, Joe. As I said, our outreach for diversity, equity, and inclusion is in many ways the future of Rotary. And to that in particular, I thank the efforts of past District Governor Carolyn Jones, Lori Draper of Seward Rotary Club, Mike Jeffrey of the Barrow Nuvik Rotary Club, and then not only Youth Protection, but Rotaract and Interact, Dan Dawson of the Juneau Glacier Valley Club. Our thanks to our District 28 West Pets and Council of Legislation Representatives, Michelle O'Brien, Rosie Roppel, and Brad Gamble. And I should mention that past District Governor Ted Trueblood is, I believe, the alternate to Brad on the Council of Legislation. Now we get down to our Rotary Club leadership, and every governor knows the necessity of strong leadership in the Rotary Clubs. We look good not because of ourselves and our efforts. We look good because of the efforts of the Rotary Club presidents. And in particular, I would thank those people who are not only past Rotary Club presidents, but are becoming Rotary Club presidents again in the future. In a sense, you could say you are the once and future presidents. So I would just want to very quickly thank all those presidents. But in particular, 3 clubs achieved what we used to call the Presidential Citation, now the Rotary Citation. Homer Kachumak Bay, President Lori Evans, Juneau Glacier Valley Rotary Club, Kenny Solomon Gross, President, and Kenai Rotary Club, Scott Seitz. There may be one or two more Rotary clubs, which by the end of the year will have achieved that status. These are the three that are officially our Rotary Presidential Citation Clubs at this time, and a particular hand for all of the people. I thank you so much. We also had, it turns out, Growth and Learning Center people. This is where we help people develop as Rotarians, as leaders and the like. And I didn't know this until I was told this, but the clubs were actually rated in terms of how they did. Number one on top, Rotary E-Club. Brian Shimmick, president. Fairbanks Sunrisers, John Lorkey, president. And Susitna Rotary Club, Dan Phillips, president. Our top three Rotary Learning and Growth Center clubs. Very quickly, Shelter Box, a archetypical Rotary project. Three clubs received International Shelter Box Awards and thanks, and those are Anchorage Russian Jack Rotary Club, Homer Kachemak Bay Rotary Club, and Rotary Club of Seward. Thank you, guys. Couple of certificates of achievement for net membership growth, not to the point of a Paul Harris, but excellent all the same, and thank you. Anchorage Gateway, Sarah Galt, Anchorage International, Art Clark, Tracy Barrow Nuvik, Tracy Mulvinen, Fairbanks College, Candace Cruz, Fairbanks Sunrisers, John Lorkey, First City, Pat Tully, Homer Kachemak Bay, Lori Evans, Juneau Glacier Valley, Kenny Solomon Gross, Kenai River / Soldotna Doug Field, Kodiak Noon, Larry Ledoux, Nome, Drew McCann, North Pole, Tasman Stebbins, Seward, Andy Bacon, Wasilla, Jim Kirish. And then I will just very quickly say thank you to our assistant governors, as you can see, and their Rotary clubs with Sitka, Southeast with Sharon Bergman of Sitka. Thanks to our Peninsula and Kodiak Region clubs, Lori Draper, assistant governor, outgoing this year, next year to become membership chair, I understand. The Matsu clubs with AG Brenda Sheldon of Palmer. The Anchorage region with Assistant Governor Amy Mackey Hornack. And I think we misspelled Mackey. My apologies, Amy. And the Northern region with Bill Wright. All excellent assistant governors. Everybody worked hard this year. Thank you so much. And every club and every president this year really was above and beyond the call. Rotary Foundation, and I am done. Diane, were you going to lead off and then Ted?
I believe Ted is going to take it from here and then I will speak right after. So Ted, take it away.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, Joe.
Well, okay. Thanks, Joe. It really is my privilege to co-chair the District 5010 Foundation Committee along with past District Governor Diane Fegis this year. The Rotary Foundation has been very active this year, providing funding for COVID-related relief, awarding a record number of global grants, providing our district with our share DDF to fund our district grants and international projects, maintaining the push for polio eradication. And by the way, there are only 2 new cases this year so far. Hooray. And soon to be initiating a new area of focus, protecting the environment. You're supposed to go back to the previous slide, Joe, You're giving away all the surprises.
I thought you were going to go right to it, Ted.
No, I'm going to lead in. You talked a while, so it's my turn.
I
Anyway,
suppose.
yeah, all of the Rotary Foundation's great work requires a steady infusion of funding by all of the foundation's partners and generous Rotarians around the world. This year was a singularly difficult time for all of us, and many of our District 5010 clubs struggled to modify their normal fundraisers in the virtual world in which we found ourselves. Fortunately, we have many generous Rotarians in our district, and we have done well in meeting our goals for donating to the annual fund, Polio Plus, and the endowment fund. To date, District 5010 has exceeded the annual fund goal by 15%. Our members have donated nearly $200,000 to other funds, mostly polio, and over $700,000 to the endowment fund, for an amazing total of $1.1 million. I'm just amazed at that. It is now my honor to announce the awards to those generous Rotarians in District 5010 who made significant donations to the Rotary Foundation this year. Our new Arch Clump Society member, a new benefactor, our new major donors, and the new members of the Paul Harris Society. All of these awardees have received or will receive recognition with special pins, certificates, and for some, crystals from the Rotary Foundation. It is my great pleasure to announce that one of District 5010's all-time fabulous Rotarians, Sue Linford, late of the Anchorage East Club, has been posthumously brought into the Arch Clump Society at the Chairs Circle level. Sue was a great Rotarian, always friendly, and with a wonderful was a wonderful civic supporter. She was the CEO and owner of Linford of Alaska Wholesale Foods, and involved in so many community activities as a leader in our city. She was also one of the first women in Rotary in Alaska, joining the Anchorage Club in 1987. Sue became a level 4 Bequest Society member in 2004. And when she passed in 2017, her bequest was honored by her survivors, and her very generous donation was sent to the Rotary Foundation in 2020. What a wonderful legacy. District 5010, you can change the slide now. Okay, District 5010 had a new couple join the Bequest Society this year. Ted and Gloria Trueblood of the Anchorage International Club have become level 6 Bequest Society members. Ted directed that 40% of his IRA be used to fund 3 different endowments and Polio Plus. Next slide, please. The ranks of major...
Wait a minute.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go. Okay. The ranks of District 5010 major donors grew significantly larger this year due to the generosity of 14 of our fellow Rotarians. District 5010 Rotarians who became major donor level 2 members include George and Myrna LG of the Juneau Glacier Valley Rotary Club, Dr. Therese Lipinski Kashi of the E Club, and Joe Kashi of the Soldotna Rotary Club. Greg Wakefield and Jeanette Wakefield of the Anchorage International Rotary Club. And at major donor level 1, brand new members include Janine and Tom Becca of the Anchorage South Rotary Club, Arnold Cohen, Anchorage East Rotary Club, and Celeste Cohen of the Anchorage International Rotary Club, Bruce Erickson of the Anchorage International Rotary Club, Sean Florio of the Anchorage East Rotary Club, Charles Foster Jr. of the Susitna Rotary Club, Keith Green of the Anchorage Rotary Club, Philip Horton and Claire Frey Horton, Susitna Rotary Club, David Hudspeth of the Anchorage Russian Jack Rotary Club, Kimberly Kiefer of the Juneau Gastineau Rotary Club, Denise Kipke, Anchorage South Rotary Club, Paul Pasley of the Anchorage East Rotary Club, and now we move to the Paul Harris Society. The Paul Harris Society recognizes those Rotarians who have contributed at least $1,000 to the annual fund, Polio Plus, or other designated funds, and pledged to do so every year. They are given a chevron to wear behind their Paul Harris Fellow pin. We gained 24 new Paul Harris Society members this year, an amazing 89% increase. Our new Paul Harris Society members are Kristen Newby of the Anchorage Club, Sean Florio, East Club, Diane Fegis, past district governor of Anchorage Club, Paul Pasley of the Anchorage East Club, William Doolittle of the East Club, Mike Bridges of the Hillside Club, Deborah Mason of the International Club, Ted Trueblood of the International Club, Cynthia Vandenberg of the South Club, Michael Ferris of the South Club, Chris Gray of the South Club, Shannon Spalding of the South Club. They had a sale that week. Julie Erickson of the South Club, Janine Becca of the South Club, Roger Mercier of the Barrow Nuvik Club, Don Polton of E Club, Francine, and I never can pronounce her last name, and she doesn't mind that I don't, of the E Club, Jack Randolph of the Fairbanks Club, Andre Laurent of the Fairbanks Sunrisers, Bernie Gifford of the Homer Katchaback Bay Club, Portland Highbaugh of the Juneau Glacier Valley Club, Karen Seitz of the Kenai Club, Les Helfrich of the Palmer Club, and Joe Kashi, our district governor, from the Soldotna Rotary Club.
As I said, the usual suspects, Ted.
Yeah, usual suspects. And with that, I'll turn it over to our District 5010 Foundation co-chair, past district governor, Diane Fegis.
Thank you, Ted. Wonderful. That's wonderful to see all of those donations. And hi, everyone. I would like to recognize the two clubs that so far have reached what the Rotary Foundation calls the banner recognition. And this is for 100% giving clubs and every Rotarian every year. So the 100% giving club is where 100% of the members has given at least $25 to any of the Rotary Foundation funds, and their club averages $100 per capita. Both of these clubs, the Juneau Glacier Valley Club and the Seward Club, have reached their every Rotarian every year goal, which also means that 100% of their members have agreed to give at least $25 to the annual fund, which funds our projects, as you well know. and a club per capita of at least $100. So I know several clubs are still planning their foundation events in the next month, and you all have until January or June 30th to reach your goals. But to all of you this year, thank you for your donations, both to our Rotary Foundation, as well as to all of your communities, which have been so in need. Your projects near and far have benefited the many people across the globe, as well as your communities. This year has been so different, and so a special thank you also to District Governor Joe. He's adapted wonderfully to being flexible in his outreach to our clubs, and this has been a very difficult and unusual year. So thank you to everyone. Thank you all, and back to you, District Governor.
Thank you very much, Diane. The one thing I would say is that we mentioned foundation in particular. We deal with foundation because that's a major part of how we reach our goals and implement our projects to make the world, our communities, our state a better place. We're just about at the end, except I get to talk and Cheryl gets to talk. I'll be very brief, relatively speaking. On behalf of myself and my spouse, Rotarian and major donor level 2 partner, Dr. Therese Kashi, I'd like to thank everyone. It literally has been a privilege and an honor to serve with all of you wonderful people this year. Whether you're on the line tonight or not, whether you were particularly recognized or not this evening, as I said, if there are any omissions, I'm sure there are, those are my oversight, not anybody else's, and my apologies. I'd just like to leave us with a very brief thought. What makes Rotary special and what can keep it special is if we remember our underlying values and return to them. Our underlying values, our core, is what makes Rotary special among all the organizations in the world. Rotary is international. It is nonpartisan. It is non-sectarian. It seeks only to do good and does not attempt to advance an agenda other than the agenda of service above self and doing right in the world. What that implies is we go and we span a huge variety of peoples, of cultures, of political and religious beliefs. And what keeps us together, helps us work well together, is our virtue of tolerance, our virtue of treasuring every Rotarian and seeing the good in everyone. There's far more that keeps us together, that we have in common, than that might drive us apart. So I would simply say, as we go forward, as we look back into this last year, go forward into the future, remember our goals. Remember to treasure every Rotarian. Remember to treasure our tolerance and to be tolerant. Remember to maintain our calmness in the face of adversity. And remember to treasure the virtues of service above self, of fellowship, of doing good in the world, in our communities and in our state, and of recognizing that there's far more that binds us together, that we have in common, than that could be used to drive us apart. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a privilege and an honor. And that may be the shortest speech I've given all year, and that's probably appropriate. So thank you all so very much from myself and from my partner, my wife, my loved, cherished person, Dr. Therese Kashi. And Cheryl, I believe you were going to close us out.
Yes, Joe, I'll be happy to do that. And I'd like to just thank everybody who is on the call on this special event. And congratulations to all the recipients of Joe's many awards and honors. As we go into the next year, starting July 1st, I would just like to remind everybody that we as Rotarians are a family. And we have so much to give to not only the people we don't know around the global world, around our state, but to each other. We are indeed each other's support as well. As we go into the next year, our motto is serve to change lives. And I think that is an exciting way to kick off our year, particularly coming off this past year. Also, our incoming international president, Shaker, has challenged all of we incoming district governors to be change makers. And he said, be a change maker, governor. Well, I challenge each and every one of us to be change maker Rotarians. I think there's a challenge to that, but it's also the door to a lot of fun as well. So as we move forward, I would just like to say, here's the gavel, if anybody can see it. It's bigger than my head, so that means I've got a lot ahead of me. But Joe, thank you for all of your dedication and hard work. I appreciate each and every one of you. And again, my husband Marty has been nothing but a support through my preparation to become your district governor, and it is truly my honor and my privilege. So get ready, because
thank you, Cheryl. And we close out our quote district conference with this ceremonial passing of the gavel from myself to incoming District Governor Cheryl Mativa, who will take office as of July 1. Between now and then, I'm planning to make a few trips to a few parts of the state to just to get together and say thank you to everybody who can afford to attend. I hope I can see you in person over the next few weeks in Southeast, Kodiak, Anchorage, Matsu, and in the northern region. We should have fun. By the way, CDC announced today that if you're fully vaccinated, as far as they're concerned, there are no restrictions on anybody, including masks at this point. So I look forward to meeting with all of you and having a fine time. In a few cases, I believe they're going to be doing baseball games. And I think that's a great idea. My only stipulation is if you're playing the Peninsula Oilers, we got to win. Other than that, thank you so much. Cheryl, Mike, it's going to be a great 3 years. I'll do whatever I can to help. And I know every other Rotarian will as well, to make each of those years a great success. So thank you all. I very much appreciate every Rotarian and treasure all of you. I thank you for coming. I thank you for helping. And none of us could have gotten there without all of us working together and helping each other.
Joe, can I add one more thing?
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I just want to remind everybody, we normally do this when we pass the gavel, but I'd like to remind you that we will be meeting for district conference next year in Talkeetna at the Talkeetna Lodge. Our dates, assembly with Mike Ferris will be held on May 12th, with the conference May 13th, 14th, and 15th. We are confirmed with the Ken Peltier Band for that Friday evening. And our keynote speaker for our grand finale on Saturday will be Sylvia Whitlock, who was not only one of the first women inducted into Rotary, but she was part of her groundbreaking rodeo club that actually really fought to accept women into Rotary. So we're going to have a great conference. I look forward to seeing all of you there.
Thank you so much. And with that,